I slowed everything down, my training, my goals, even my timeline, and somehow everything started moving faster. Now I want to show you exactly what that looks like and why it worked. I want to show you what real progress looks like. Not the transformation photo, not the PR, the real work, the transformation that happens behind scenes, the backlogs, what happens when no one's looking. Because if you're measuring progress in the way that most fitness content tells you to, either you're really far behind where you think you are, or you're a lot further ahead than you anticipated, because there's so many little things you're completely missing. I'm going to break down exactly what's changed in my training, what's got better, what's got harder, and one thing that surprised me about how progress actually works. This video that you are seeing now is simply a snippet of things that I'm working on now, which is I'm controlling more tempo. I'm more methodical about vertical versus horizontal movements and which plane I'm moving in, which is a lot of banter to just say I'm focusing on different principles and holding them extremely strict to what I need to be accomplishing for the simple fact that I've overlooked them for so long. I've been chasing numbers. I've been chasing the results, but I haven't been looking for the measurable steps along that path to direct future progress. But here's the thing I didn't expect, and this was the biggest shift. It wasn't physical whatsoever. It's the reason why everything else started moving, which is if we're looking specifically at what's happening, what I've been able to accomplish is I've been able to move pain-free. I've been able to control weight that, in a way, isn't necessarily difficult, but true to where I know I can manage it outside of the gym. It's not just gym-style strength. Here are things that I've noticed progress on over the last few weeks with these new restrictions and new controls on my current program, which is, one, my physique is starting to look a little bit better. I'm starting to take a little bit more shape. I'm focusing on more time under tension. Two, certain movements are feeling way more fluid, way more controlled. I'm feeling it more in the muscle belly, which is just saying I'm having a much better mind-muscle connection through a lot of these movements. And three, I'm moving a lot more pain-free. My elbows aren't aching as much. My shoulders aren't aching as much. My knees don't hurt because I've been running a rehab protocol. And lastly, my quads have a lot more endurance in them now. Running feels just a little bit better, which isn't shown here, but also higher volume sets for squat variations are just now feeling a lot more fluid without it being completely exhausting on my body, which is in large part due to the rehab protocol with the Spanish squats that I do and the wall sits. So let's talk about how life affects what we're trying to focus on here, which is where the thing I did not expect to really make the biggest shift wasn't about the physicality of everything. And it's the reason why everything is changing for me personally in a positive direction, which is I had an injury several weeks back now where I strained both my knees. It was wonderful. Life, it gets in the way, and if you don't schedule and have good systems around stuff, you just miss out on opportunities to be able to perform, keep up with YouTube, keep up with playing guitar, keep up with exercising, keep up with boxing, specific things to me, and those things could be just plug and play whatever you're working towards right now. That is what you're looking for. So between the knee strain, between not getting a lot of sleep, on average, I get anywhere from 5 to 5.5 hours of sleep every day. Except for Sundays, I get a nice amount of sleep. I finally get 8 to 10 hours, depending on how I'm feeling, which kind of drops down that sleep debt a little bit. You don't really get to catch up on sleep. It affects your performance throughout the week. But just with my current schedule, trying to do YouTube, trying to learn guitar, trying to be a better boxer, and keep up with my training regimen, for strength training, that is, these aren't meant to be anything other than that's what the reality is. How I've adapted with this is I get this like decision-making paralysis where for a lot of people it's dumb. It's like, just do it. Just literally just go do it. Now, in my previous video, I talked about how sometimes it just does not work that way. You freeze. And there are times where I need to go clean a dish because I need to eat on it. And it's like a plate and it's my only plate and I need to be able to go clean it. And I also need to fill up my water bottle. And I also need to make sure that I sent that message to that client. It's not that simple with how some of our brains work. If you know, you know. If you relate, you relate. Setting these systems up in place where it's more of a spontaneous decision just to do something is where the difference is made. Setting up certain particular systems where I prioritize getting hydrated, eating, and doing paperwork, messaging people sets up for success later on because it's not looming over my head, giving me that decision paralysis that comes later when I'm worried about, I still need to work out. I still need to do that stuff. Now, as of recording today, that's not in the books. I've programmed the day weird and my system failed. That's the reality, is this stuff happens, but it's where you make the biggest difference is you understand that these things happen, but you have a system in place to not really compromise, but to make up for them. So for programming, what I do is if I miss stuff, I bring out the quality of things that I have missed and I pair it with the things that I meant to build with quantity in its fullest. So today I'm missing my boxing and tomorrow I'm meant to do a power day. So I'm going to pair my power day with my boxing. And what I'll do is I'll focus on very high quality boxing without all the intensity, and I will focus on my training intensity outside of boxing with the weights, focusing on the power movements, the plyometrics. This is where I have a system to make up for where life gets in the way. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You learn to compromise to make forward progress. The small decisions is where the biggest progress happens. So this is the thing that actually surprised me, is the more I slowed everything down and made the goals smaller, the intention, the adaptation, the focus of any particular thing that I'm doing, once I made it smaller, the progress just rapidly sped up. Because when I look at the grand goal and I'm like, here's the picture, I miss too much. And I end up further behind because I miss all these little things where my brain, it just doesn't make sense of it. So when I slowed it down, everything sped up. Now, does that make complete sense? You go slower to move faster. Well, I'm sure you've heard people say that before. It's been in movies, it's been in quotes. If you have a mentor or a coach or a teacher, they mention things like that, where if you slow down and you take a breath, and you start focusing on the smaller parts, everything starts clicking, because once it makes sense up here, it just comes together out in the real world, whether you're applying it in the gym, outside of the gym, financially, whatever it is, you apply these particular things and they make sense. They make sense to you on a level where progress comes a lot faster versus beating your head against a wall being like, why isn't this working? Now it makes sense. Now it works. So when, specifically for me, the knee strains, when it happened a few weeks ago, I didn't stop training. I shifted the variables to focus more on the posterior chain and hips, with focusing on isometrics for my knees on the front side. So I strained the quadricep tendon laterally on the left leg, which created medial meniscus pain. And then I just strained the patellar tendon a little bit on the right knee. And it was due to a poor, it's so warm in here. It was due to a poor ego lifting choice. I was feeling good. I was excited. I just wanted to hit some numbers. I let it get in the way of my focus, my intention. I strained them, but I didn't stop training. I just refocused everything around that, which allowed me to move freely, to move pain-free, and to readapt and re-strengthen my knees so I can continue with forward progress. And now, as of recording this video, I'm a week in to moving my knees into flexion, squatting again, and it feels good. It's pain-free. I can move some serious weight, but if I jump too quick too soon, I'll end up right back in the boat where I started. I have to trust the process and focus on these smaller things, and I'm going to rapidly build past where I was even before I got hurt. The smaller, consistent goals and accomplishments will compound in a way that big wins never will. And it's where those small things, where people that become rich and successful, or they become famous, or they become astronomically strong or successful in their field, they set up the groundwork and the foundation so no matter what, they would succeed, because they shoot for the big wins, but they have to take those small steps so the big wins aren't just a one and done thing. And that's the system I'm applying. And that's the biggest surprise that didn't occur to me, no matter how obvious it may seem, like just saying it, but to do it made the most sense. And it's evident now. I am 6 weeks in, and it's a world difference. So it happens. This is the biggest surprise. This is the takeaway. It's my advice to you is slow things down, set those smaller goals, build your foundation wider, and it's going to allow for the bigger win to be more consistent. You'll have much bigger wins consistently once you take those smaller steps and focus on the smaller successful steps and win at those. Those small wins build to massive wins later on, and you can consistently get massive wins if you have those small wins in place. It's also the same way with guitar if you're following the channel. Is where if I focus on just rhythm and I find one song and I just try to learn the rhythm of that song, not the tempo, not anything else, just the rhythm, all of a sudden learning the song becomes way easier, because that's the thing I struggle with the most is the rhythm and the strumming pattern specifically of playing guitar. That's the hardest part for me. Once I focus on that small aspect or another small aspect, maybe it's accuracy with where my fingertips are and bending them just right. If I focus on that, the rest of it comes together so fast. I'm not where I thought I'd be at this point, of course. It never works that way. If it works that way for you, that's amazing. That's awesome. I want this stuff so bad. No one's gonna stop me to get it. I get in my own way, and that's my biggest hurdle to get over. But I know I'd be a lot further. I am a lot further now than where I'd be if I just try to accomplish it all at once. So this is my update. This is my advice to you. This is where the biggest surprise is slow things down, accomplish the small things, get the small wins, and everything else will come so much faster. I will see you guys in the next video. As always, stay growing and stay small, and of course, stay silly. I will catch you all in the next video. What could you say? Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Later.